I hope everyone is ready to rock for this morning. Good morning, everyone. More than ready, says Fairy. I see the rocks are aligned and ready to go. Let's see. Blasters at the ready from General Kenobi. Hello there, my friend. It's good to see you. This is where the fun begins. It's good to see all you folks. I am super excited to be here to teach another Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Voodoo Val, and I am going to be your instructor this morning and all of next week for the Daily Creative Challenges. And we're going to be getting into some interesting special effects today. I'm going to go over to the landing page and show you folks where you can get connected and grab all of the starter files and everything that you need to participate with me. And I have a bit of a confession to make this morning. I do. I have a confession to make to all of you, and I'm really embarrassed. I'm really embarrassed about it, but I feel like I should get this over with considering it's gonna be a major kind of playing hand in the challenge for today. But prepare yourselves. I use the dissolve blending mode all the time. I use it all the time. And I know that people go through the blending modes and they skip over the dissolve blending mode because they're like, what are you? What do you do? Why are you here, dissolve blending mode? But I love it and I use it all the time. And today we're gonna use it. We're gonna use it. Uriel's like, oh no, no. I use it all the time and I love it. And today, there are uses for dissolve. Thank you, Carol. Christine is like, no, no. Bev is like, Jennifer's laughing at me. I know. It is there for a reason. General Kenobi is doing the Vader scream. No. Yes. All right, guys. I'm going to pop over to the landing page really quick, and I'm going to show you what's up. So this is the landing page for the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. Behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. You want to be over here. Also, speaking of being on Behance, if you're over in the YouTube chat, please come join me in the Behance chat because that is where I am reading all of your comments. If you go to behance.net/live, that is where all of the Star Wars jokes are happening. It is where all of the shade is being thrown at me over the dissolve tool, except for a handful of people. I see a handful of dissolve lovers, and I respect you guys. Thank you so much. That's new to you, yes. All right, so yeah, please head over there, and so far you can see that we've had 4 challenges unlocked. We've done these top 3. We've done photo compositing, package design, photo manipulation, and today we're going to be doing special effects. It says create the spray effect for an air freshener product shot by using selection and masking tools. Now, you can do a air freshener, or you can do like spray paint. You can do all kinds of stuff with this effect. And I think I actually might do some spray paint just because I was thinking about Claudie this morning and I thought, you know what, we should do an ode to Claudie with some awesome graffiti and spray paint, some spray paint effects. So that's what we're gonna do. Now I'm gonna pop over here to my Photoshop. This is the starter file that you will get if you click that getting started button on the landing page, and it says the same spiel, you know, create the spray effect for an air freshener or spray paint product shot using selection and masking tools. I've got a spray can here for you folks that I have created, or I have gone and found for you. It is a free to use image from Unsplash, and you folks can download it and use it however you see fit. There is also a couple other images that I'm going to be using today, but I did get all of them from free Adobe stock, so you will be able to snatch them up for yourselves. So I'm actually going to pop myself over here to this other side of the screen so I'm not blocking my libraries. I'm going to hide my info here, and I'm going to open my libraries and start picking through my images that I have. Happy Friday, y'all. What's up, chat? It's good to see you. Hey, Val, do you ever look over the previous challenges and give thoughts? Sometimes I do look over the previous challenges, but I will admit that I do focus more on the challenges that are happening right now. I think the things that I focus the most on are looking at people's challenges that are current, and then also looking at that challenge ideas or challenge suggestions page in the Discord. I troll that channel all the time looking for new ideas of what you guys want for challenges, but if you have some specific ones that you want me to take a look at, please tag me in the Discord. Sometimes I wake up and there are so many hundreds of messages like awaiting me in there. It is really hard to like get in there and see all of them, but I will, if you tag me, it's much easier for me to find what you'd like to share. All right, so I'm going to open this image that I have found for you. You want the Unsplash link? You know what? I can put the Unsplash link in the Discord for, or in the chat for you if you like. Let me come back to my layers here and grab my text. Boom, copy, paste. Ta-da! There you go. All right, so let me hide this info again, and we're gonna before we dive into my my dear friend, the dissolve tool, we're gonna cut this this spray can out, okay? And I have been doing, I'm just gonna go with my own default method of like cutting things out. We have kind of reviewed a lot of different ways that you can select things in the past few days, so you can use any of your own selection methods that you prefer. But what I like to do is just do an object selection over the top of something like this, and then I like to come in with my lasso tool and my stylus and clean it up. Just to add to it. So you can add to a selection by holding shift while you are working, and you can subtract from a selection, which I will do here by holding Alt. And you can cut parts out. And that works for me. This is really, for me, is the best way to do things. It's the way that I find I can be the most accurate when it comes to cutting stuff out. And sometimes it's not as crispy as I would like it, but today we're not really going to be working so hard to make this particular image, oops, I'm holding the wrong button, to make this particular image super crispy, because we are going to be doing some interesting graphics over the top of this. We're going to get into, I know some of you have asked me in the past, how do you do a gradient map? Well, we're going to be getting into that today, so that you folks can start making some pretty cool like duotone effects in your work, in your you know, any trendy posts that you want to be using. And our loose prompt for today, because I'm trying to give you folks a purpose when it comes to all of the stuff that we do in these challenges for these 2 weeks, our loose prompt for the day is we're going to be making a graphic that basically says that this paint is on sale. You know, you can do like a 50% off store wide or something, and you want to make like a cool grungy action shot. I want you to try and match the graffiti culture when you go to do this graphic, okay? So that's going to call for you folks to do a little bit of research and see what's happening in that world, what other people are doing when it comes to making promos and graphics for that culture, and how you can implement that style and that vibe in your own work. So I've got this selected. I'm just going to do a quick Control J to duplicate it, which gives it to me on its own isolated layer. And I am going to convert it to a smart object. I'm going to call this spray can. And then I'm going to drag this over here to starter file 4 and drop it right in there. Now I am going to Control T to free transform this, and I'm going to shrink it down and just kind of have this like hovering in the corner here, because I want to be able to like kind of do the spray effect and have some space for some writing and things, but I also want there to be room to make like a spray effect. We're going to do like this can is going to be spraying into the corner area, and then we'll put like a 50% off sign in the top corner here. Now, before we start adding colors and start making our backgrounds and all that good stuff, I am going to actually come over and click on Image, Adjustment, and Gradient Map. And you can see this is going to apply a default gradient map, but I'm going to show you how you can use the default gradients in the Gradient Maps panel, and also how you can edit an existing gradient map or create your own from scratch. So if I come down here, I know that I want this to be like reddish or orange. So I'm going to come into the oranges and I'm going to kind of look at some of these. That's interesting. Sometimes if you select a gradient map and it looks more like a negative image than like a cool colorized photo, sometimes if you click this reverse, so you reverse the highlights and the shadows, it actually ends up looking a little bit better. And this is really cool, but it doesn't have enough depth for me, and I think I would like to add some more colors. So I'm gonna come back in here, maybe in the reds. Honestly, this one's got 3 colors here, and I wonder, that's cool, actually. This is really neat. I kind of want it to have more depth. So if you'd like to add some more depth to a gradient map that you select, all you have to do is actually click on the color. Here it says click to edit gradient. You can click here and you can start moving these points around and adding more colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this darker value and I'm going to bump it down, and I'm going to click under here to add my own point. And I'm gonna double click this, or actually I'm not. I'm gonna click this color here, and I'm gonna add in like a very dark saturated purple to give it some more depth. You can come in here with this little slider between points and slide things around if you want it to fade into other colors a little bit differently. I'm actually gonna bump this whole thing over just a little bit more to make it brighter. And then I'm gonna bump in this orange, and I'm gonna come in and add a much brighter kind of an orangey color there. Let's see how that does. I like this. I think that this adds like a good amount of depth. I'm gonna kind of bring that pink out more, and then I'm gonna drag this in over here just to give it, like, it fades into darker tones, but it doesn't get lost. I think that looks cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and say okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say okay. Or what I could do, in fact, before I say okay, I'm gonna come down here. What I kind of want to do actually is create a new custom gradient map, just in case I want to come back to this. So what you can see here is I went to, I clicked on this to open the editor again, and you'll notice there it allows you to add a name and then say new. So I'm going to call this DCC spray can, so I remember what this was used for and why I made it, and I'm going to say new. And now you can see down here at the bottom, I have that gradient that I edited saved perfectly, so that in the future I can come back and this will be waiting for me to apply it to something else, which is really cool. Yeah, change that gradient type from solid to noise. It's actually really cool. Let's try it. Let's see. Check that out. That is insane. That is so cool. I think I am going to keep the solid though, just for this challenge. And I'm gonna hit okay. So now we have like a really pretty nifty spray can. I am going to make kind of a background right quick. I have some textures and things that I like to, excuse me, I like to use when it comes to kind of making a background. I've got like some chalk textures that are right for me, but you may like to use a different background for yours. So I'm just gonna drag in a kind of a chalky, grungy texture. When you choose a texture, when you look for a texture for your background, if you want a background that's different than like a solid color, I would choose something gritty and grungy just to stay in keeping with this kind of work. You know, like the graffiti kind of spray paint grit, you know? And then what I'm going to do is I've got this image that I found on Adobe Stock. It was in the free section of Adobe Stock, so you can check it out if you like. In fact, I can actually copy this code and put this code in the chat for you, just in case you'd like to check it out. And I'm going to come back to here, and I'm just going to drag this in. And I'm going to enlarge this so I can just see like the graffiti and the stairs in here. And I'm going to throw this on some blending modes just to make it look really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the levels first with Control L, and I am going to kind of make this darker, but not super intrusive, like so. And then I'm going to go back into levels, and I'm going to edit the red, and I'm going to make this all a little more purple. Can we make it more purple? There's like, just make it like very red. Or I wonder what would happen actually if we put that blending, if we put the gradient map on it. Let's see. This is a brand new thing I'm doing that I did not do when I practiced this, so it could be lame, but let's see. Let's do that and let's put it on reverse. That's cool. And then we can like turn the fill down on it. Not bad. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. I think that matches. It just making it settle in the background. That's cool. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that. And now we're gonna use the dissolve blending mode. So the dissolve blending mode, what does it do? Why is it weird? And why should I use it today? So what the dissolve blending mode does, and I'm not like a extra savvy person when it comes to explaining what blending modes do. I think that we all kind of have blending modes that we really love, and we use the ones that we understand, but unless you're Paul Tranny, sorry, Paul. Unless you're Paul Tranny, you probably don't know what they all do. So I'm going to do the best I can to explain and describe the dissolve tool. So the dissolve, I'm making a new layer here with Control-Shift-N. The dissolve blending mode, basically, it doesn't include anti-aliasing. So when I take my brush here and I put it on like a bright color and I go, you know, I start, it's like a soft round brush. It has this nice gradient to it. The dissolve does not have that. Dissolve, whenever you put something on a dissolve blending mode, everything is at 100% opacity or opacity, potato, however you like to say it. And it does not have this gradient effect. With everything at 100% opacity, it takes these areas of like anti-aliasing and it randomly places pixels scattered about at 100% opacity, but there's some places where those pixels are missing, and so it still gives like this anti-aliasing effect to it, but it is not as it would be if you were using like a soft round brush. It is like 100% like sharp, hard pixels. Okay, so as an example, I can come up here and I can put it on dissolve, and you can see how that goes into dissolve. Now the way I like to use this is I love to put things on dissolve, and I like to merge layers that are on the dissolve blending mode because it warps them right back to a normal blending mode because I'm merging them all together. And then I have a noisy texture with anti-aliasing instead of without, because it's no longer on a dissolve blending mode. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you real quick. So if I kind of click here, you know, and I have, you know, kind of a fade there, and I put it on dissolve. All right. And then maybe I come in here with like a green color, and I on a new layer, I click around and do something like this, and then I put that on a dissolve as well. You can see, especially with that green, you can see how that dissolve layer does its work right there. But now, if I select both of these layers and I merge them, ta-da! It's on a normal layer, but you know, it's not on dissolve anymore. So now I have like this nice textury noise. And you can see, like, before I merged it, you can see how like it's changing. Like as I zoom out and stuff, the pixels and everything are like kind of changing around. When I merge them all together, you can see now I just have this very nice, like, soft, noisy texture. And sometimes what I like to do is use that in place of applying noise, especially if I want to apply it to a kind of shape, which is what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to make a new layer again. I am going to sample this orange color here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make like an orange spray coming from this can, okay? And one thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how, if you need to make a shape real quick with a brush tool, but all you have is a mouse and you need like straight lines, something that you can do is actually hold Shift and click. So if you didn't know this, this might really help you. So I'm going to click, and then I'm gonna hold Shift and I'm gonna click here, and it drags a line for me. So then I can come back up here and click, and I can come out here and click, back up here. And I'm just holding shift while I do this, and it's making me a straight line to every place that I click on. And what I'm doing is I'm making like this like spray kind of shape, but we're gonna warp this with the warp settings, okay? So I've got this thing. I might make my brush a little bit bigger and kind of bring this. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna move this into actually the center of my canvas, and I know I'm running out of time here, so I got to do this quick. I want to Control T and free transform this and move this out here because I don't want any of our softness to go off camera and give us a hard cutoff. Okay, so I'm just clicking around. I'm making like a spray here like so. I'm gonna make this a little smaller, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to Control T, right click, and warp it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring these in like this, oops. And I'm gonna make this like directional kind of funneled spray effect like that. Just, you know, with my warp tool little handles here, just to kind of create this like motion movement here. And I'm gonna go ahead and say okay, and then I'm going to make it a little bit larger, just a little bit larger, like right there. And I am going to put this on dissolve. Let's do a dissolve. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in with a soft round brush on another layer with dissolve, okay? And I'm going to simply click around and kind of start adding in like some spray around here. And then I'm gonna merge it, okay? Boom, so that just kind of like gives like a little bit of back spray, you know, that you would have if you were using a real can. You can even come in here with E, with your eraser tool on these layers and kind of erase if you think that some erasing needs to be had, and remove, and it'll remove it in the same manner that it's normally that it's dissolved in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift and select both of those, and I'm going to go E, and I'm going to, there we go. So we have like kind of a spray type effect going on here. And then what you can do is Control Shift N to make a new layer. You can make this a clipping mask, and then you can come in with like maybe a brighter color, maybe a yellower color. And you can use like maybe an overlay or a color dodge or something and start like kind of dropping in some color here. I think maybe, I wonder what it would be like if we did more of a red, I don't know, or maybe overlay, just to kind of give it a little something something, I don't know. Not bad, not bad. Now I would tweak this a little more because obviously there's like some empty space in here that I, you know, otherwise wouldn't do. And I might actually want it to like kind of subtract from this like edge here of the spray just to make it look more airy. Something that you could also do is you could put like maybe some dots like on a new layer here. And I'm cutting it pretty close, but you could put some dots in here. And then you could throw them on a, let's see, let me select these, and I'm going to Control Layer via Cut. You could go to Filter, Blur, and Motion Blur, and you could kind of like throw these out in a way that just makes it look like there's more kind of motion happening around this. If you wanted to, you could do a lot of things in that vein. You could do the same thing, but I'm going to flip this horizontal so that it's going in the right direction. Yeah, you could do something along those lines and just kind of make it a little more motiony. But I'm going to flip over because we've got about a minute left, and I want to show you what I did previously because I kind of put a little bit more time into it. So I created, it's a little cleaner with this, and I kind of got like this gradient going on the side here and kind of faded it into a like a harsher like solid 100% opacity here with the spray. But I did the same thing where I made like that kind of like cone shape. I warped it and drug it out, and I also kind of added some extra spray around here. I added like an Instagram handle because maybe, you know, this is something that you'd want to post on your social media if this was your business, a little 50% off thing and like a paint swipey effect, just to start making it look like something that could be used in branding. And I had a lot of fun. So I hope that you folks enjoyed this. I do have to take off because I don't want to get cut off at the end of our class here, but use the dissolve blending mode, see how it works for you, explore and experiment with it a little bit. I can't wait to see what you folks create. Much love, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, and happy designing. I will see you folks next, this coming Monday after the weekend with another challenge. Bye-bye, everybody.